Songs for a Mockingbird, a book by Bonnie Compton Hanson. Chapter 1. Ruck, ruck, ruck. Dear God, what was that? Heart pounding, Melinda Curry looked up from her needlework. Not another shot from a guard's AK-47. Please! The radiant colors of the blouse she was embroidering, of the other garments piled high on her workstation, contrasted starkly with her own drab gray scarf, apron, and shapeless robe, now dark with stains and perspiration. Blonde curls, soaked with sweat, hung limply over her forehead. She pulled back the edge of her scarf to hear better above the whir and clatter of the dozen electric sewing machines all around her, operated at breakneck speed by a crew of similarly dressed women, not to mention the loud buzz of flies and bugs attracted by the pungent smell of this converted poultry shed on a sweltering summer day. Had she just imagined that harsh sound? Or, no, there it came again! But no one else seemed to notice it. Peeking furtively through a knothole in the bare plank wall, she was almost blinded by brilliant June sunshine. Choking heat and dust rose in shimmers from the barren earth outside this building. Far away she could glimpse white clouds, blue sky, and rolling fields of knee-high corn on neighboring farms. Picture-perfect Iowa farmland in all its down-home glory. But mostly her view was blocked by her own farm's hodgepodge of unpainted wood and concrete buildings, crammed in graceless squalor around this sewing workroom, the commune headquarters of the end times disciples' fortress of faith. What new danger had arisen out there? Were the prophet and his guards target practicing at the fence posts again, or at birds hapless enough to land on the drooping clothesline? Or did that grating sound mean that another accident had just occurred in the barn where her dear husband and son? No. She held her breath and prayed, then breathed again. Of course! Her cornflower blue eyes glistened with sudden recognition and relief. Leaning toward the diminutive's 13-year-old sewing frantically beside her, she whispered, "Psst! Sister Deborah, hear that?" Her co-worker looked up. "Hear what, Sister Abigail?" she whispered back, using Melinda's commune name. Then listening. "Oh, that awful noise! What is it?" Melinda resumed her needlework. "A mockingbird, dear." "A mockingbird? But Sister Abigail, mockingbirds are supposed to be happy. That one's not even singing. It sounds like its little heart's broken. What's wrong?" Melinda sighed. Sister Abigail? Would no one ever call her by her right name again? And when could she ever call her young co-worker Shannon Obermeyer by hers? Some cat probably robbed her nest, dear, so right now she has lost all hope. That's why she lost her song. But one day she will sing again. Then, even though it seemed impossible, she added, and someday our hearts will too. The young girl's dark eyes filled with tears. "Oh, I hope so, Sister Abigail. Oh, I do hope so." But someone had heard them. Their silver-haired, hawk-nosed, ever ready to discipline supervisor, Sister Dorcas. In honor of her position, she wore only the white scarf and gown in this roomful of threadbare gray garments. Rushing over with her vengeful rod of righteousness, The wiry older woman beat them both on the head. "Lazy wretches!" she shouted. "You know no one is allowed to talk during hand ministry hours. For punishment, no noon rations today for either of you. Stay at your machines and pray that God's prophet will forgive you." Sister Dorcas then pointed to the already filled boxes of exquisitely sewn garments, carefully folded, packed, ready for shipment to eager retail stores. "You know we must complete the shipment by the end of this week, or the prophet's guards will beat us within an inch of our lives. And it would be all your fault. You Jezebel!" Cringing, Melinda and Shannon replied woodenly, as all unanointed disciples must at every infraction, real or imagined, "As the prophet wills, Sister Dorcas." Just then, a definite gunshot. "Oh no! Did a guard get that Mockingbird?" Then heavy footsteps pounded the rickety wooden steps leading up to the sewing room. In strode Gabriel, the prophet's messenger, lips curled, holding his still smoking revolver. Even on this blistering summer day, he wore the high black boots and full camouflage uniform of the prophet's right hands of power guards. A very visible semi-automatic rifle hung over one shoulder, while holsters at his waist held a .38 handgun and a cell phone. Sweat glistened on his closely shaven cheeks and head. A sparkling silver chain with its sign of the anointed pennant circled his thick, well-muscled neck. His eyes were insolent, his teeth stained from constant wads of chewing tobacco, ramrods stiff. Sister Dorcas ordered, "All rise!" The roomful of women leapt from their sewing machines, work tables, and quilting frames, their thin, weary faces as colorless as their long, shapeless garments. "What message does our prophet send, O Gabriel?" they chanted. But he had words for only one. "Sister Abigail?" Melinda trembled. Dear God, what have I done? She forced her bare feet across the worn wooden floor to the messenger, to hear today's pronouncement, today's punishment. Why had she been singled out? Had she been sewing too slowly? Did she not laugh loudly enough at the prophet's jokes? Had her son, 7-year-old Jeremy, spoken out of turn? Or her 4-year-old daughter, Amber, failed at her chores? Or did loyal, patient Josh Curry, her husband, heart of her heart and love of her life, he who had been brooding for so long, finally find the courage to say, "I want out"? Head still bowed, she knelt at the messenger's feet. To the others he barked, "Back to work!" As they plopped down in relief. They weren't the ones to be punished today. He added sharply to the supervisor, "Sister Dorcas, your deadline has been moved up. Now the prophet commands that all orders be completed, packaged, on the truck, and ready to leave our compound by evening prayer feast tomorrow night. Promptly, or else." He smiled grimly. "I'm sure none of you wants to disappoint the prophet. So until the new deadline is met, no sleep or rations for anyone." To Melinda, "Rise and follow, woman. Make haste. Your prophet calls." Then he stormed out of the open door ahead of her. If only she could fly like that little bird. Better yet, scream and scratch this guard's eyes out. But no unanointed disciples of the remnant dare disobey either the messenger Gabriel or the other guards, not if they valued life and limb. But it wasn't always so. Dear God, when did it change? Why did it change?